All right. Hello, Brian.
Hi, how are you?
Thanks. I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for finding the time to tell a story of how you're using Getint and how you like it. I noticed when I was browsing my email that like the first contact that we had was in 2023, right? We have 2025 already. So
Yeah,
there's already some time when you're using the tool. So in order to start, can you please like introduce yourself and the company and the role, so everybody would know what you're doing?
sure. Yeah, happy to do that. So I'm Brian McCabe. I'm based in the UK. I am an EVP at a company called InoApps.
Hmm.
And InoApps we're a specialist provider of Oracle consultancy and managed services. Um, and we're a global organization, about 500 people, North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific regions. So that's us. We do Oracle software and technology.
So you're a managed service provider for a lot of different brands, right? Because as I know, it's like more than 500 customers, right? 40 different countries that you operate in.
Exactly. Yes,
That's quite a lot.
it is, and yeah, more than 500 customers on our in our portfolio, about 132 today, where we provide
Hmm.
ongoing managed services, which is where the Getint product comes into its own, really. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm happy that we are just doing the renewal. That means that like it's a tool that you'll continue to use, right? It wasn't
Yes.
just like a one-time thing. So can you tell us like what type of projects and operations are like benefiting from using Getint?
Yeah.
You're using this to integrate Jira and Zendesk, right?
Correct. Well, Zendesk and others, but yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we as an organization we moved to Jira Service Management or JSM Enterprise about 2.5 years ago. Prior to that, we were on ServiceNow. So we moved
Hmm.
because we felt JSM gave us a much better or more agile type approach to the delivery of our services. So as I
Hmm.
mentioned, we've got 132 active customers using our JSM platform right now. Most of them will go in through the normal portal and log tickets with us through the normal portal, but a number of them obviously have their own service desk or ITSM tools, and don't want to be double keying. So
Hmm.
that requirement comes out, then we will look to use Getint to integrate JSM into the customer system so that everybody has their own view of the truth. And as you said there, the first client we deployed was an integration through Getint with Zendesk, which has been live now for over a year. And uh, one of the reasons we chose Getint was because it had so many different plugins available to it. So it could talk not only from JSM to Zendesk, but also ServiceNow and various other tools. And with our customer base, we have a large number of different tools that our
Hmm.
customers use. So it gave us the greatest opportunity to integrate with many different clients.
Happy to hear this. Also Jira, right? So
And Jira,
uh,
Jira, yeah.
So whenever you will have a new customer coming, and it's easy to see how InoApps is growing. So definitely you will have some more. With Get It, it's easy to simply have a single platform to integrate with various of different solutions, like you just said. So obviously there was a time before Getting right
Yeah.
implemented in the company. How it was handled back then?
Well, to be honest, we didn't do it.
Okay.
So when we were originally on ServiceNow, we were aware that we could do the API-based integrations between ServiceNow and third-party products, and exactly the same opportunities exist within JSM. But we didn't. We always had the conversations, but we never really went that far down the line that we integrated using those kind of manual or custom integrations just because of the pure overhead of doing so. Um, the feeling was the cost was too high. So when we did talk to our customers about it, the cost of doing those integrations became too high. But also the customer didn't want to change their systems in the same way as we didn't want to change our systems to tie them closely together, because that reduced our flexibility to change on both ends. So what we really needed was something that simulated the end users rather than tying the two systems together at a technical level. And that's where Getint came in. So prior to deploying Getint, we didn't integrate the systems. We just talked about doing it.
Okay, okay. So there was no manual work like in the copying and pasting issues from the emails. I know that some other customers have this particular use case that before implementing an integration solutions, they were simply sending the informations over
yes.
emails, then copying, pasting, and all the stuff.
Yeah, we were doing lots of that. So we call it a spinning chair. So you have a chair and you type in one and then you spin and then you type. So double keying, copying and pasting of emails. We had some email-based integrations where you would send an email to the system, it would parse it and create a ticket. They're not very good. They don't map the statuses. They're never structured emails. So it was of limited benefit to us compared with what we have now.
Okay. So also what I heard from one of our other customers is that at first when they were implementing a solution like this, they thought it's about saving time.
Yes.
But then they learned it's saving time is one of the benefits. Another one is just not making mistakes along the way, right? Because when people are copying and pasting stuff, it's very easy to miss one or two pretty important things, right? And
Correct.
now with
Correct.
automation in place, it's just more reliable in a sense, right?
I agree. I agree. Yes.
So,
Yeah,
what are there? Were there like any inefficiencies of manual processes that you wanted to eliminate? We mentioned time. We mentioned lack of errors. Is there anything else that like were an important factor? Mostly when with your cooperation with the customer, right? I can imagine
yeah.
that it simply
It,
improved the
it
process.
became so that the issue with relying on people is people make mistakes, but they also take time. So
Yeah.
there would be updates done within our system that the customer didn't pick up quickly, and hence the people who were using the customer system didn't see them. So there were delays in that manual integration, both from updates from us not being visible to the end user, but also updates from the end user not coming through to us. So it was a very disjointed and sequential process rather than being a dynamic end-to-end process. So the delays there were one thing. The other thing I would say is, in terms of SLAs, our business is, we follow ITIL, so our business is very focused on incident management and service level agreements, and the stopping and pausing and starting of the SLA clocks within JSM is very important to us. So, but from a business perspective, when we had manual integrations, in the customer's head, their SLA clock was already running, but because they hadn't updated our system, it wasn't. So it
Yes.
provides us with more accurate service level reporting and SLA management as well.
Okay, so so it started with a single customer, and how it is evolving? Is it a part of your a part of your offer also, like for the new customers? If you can tell me a bit more here.
It is. I mean, obviously, so I actually, straight after this call, I'm going on to a call with another one of our customers who wants to integrate with ServiceNow. So that will be good news for you.
Yes.
So it is now something that we actively talk about to our customers, whereas previously we held back. So now we know that we can do this. It expands our offering and our portfolio to customers, and we can say yes rather than maybe. There is still work to do. Obviously, we need to do the mappings and we need to build the use cases and decide how statuses map either side and map those workflows. But it's a lot easier now than it was in the past. So the answer is a yes. And then we start talking to the customer about how we do it and the timelines and how we phase those implementations. So it's still a project, but it's a much easier project than it would have been before.
Okay. You briefly mentioned the process of integration, right? Introducing the integration in the overall project of how you work with the customers. I know it was some time ago when you started like using the tool, but can you recall if it was an easy experience, a challenging one? What did you like about it? Um, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if I think back to the first one we did, which was the Zendesk one, it was an interesting time because our customer was implementing Zendesk at
Hmm.
the same time as we were going through the process of integrating our JSM for the first time with a customer system. So lots of moving parts. Um, the support we got from you guys at Getint was very good, very strong, very responsive to our requests. Um, the core engine mapped perfectly well, so we could map a field in Zendesk to a field in JSM, and the tickets kept updated on both sides. That was absolutely fine. Where the complexity came in was really around how to handle different scenarios on different sides. And that's where we probably underestimated the work we had to do with our client. I can give you an example. So
Hmm.
if a customer logs a ticket in their system saying there's an issue with Oracle, and then they move it in Zendesk, in that case, to a queue or a team, that means it triggers the integration and creates a ticket within JSM, then we work that ticket in JSM. When we resolve that ticket in JSM, what happens in the customer side? Now, you would imagine, well, you would resolve it there, but actually that customer needed to validate what we'd done was correct, and maybe they need to do some more work in their business that didn't involve InoApps. So
Okay.
those kind of design decisions we didn't think about in as much detail as we might have done. So my suggestion is, yes, the product works, but don't forget the scenarios and the use cases that sit around it. So we probably took longer on that one than we would have done otherwise, because we just assumed it all worked and it knew how to read our minds, but it can't.
We
So
try to do it as efficiently as possible. We now also
yeah,
introduce the quick build feature, which helps you automap the fields by
yes,
themselves. But obviously, there's just as much as we can do as possible, right? And of course,
agreed.
those are like different tools. And as one of our other friend customers, I like to call our customers, they had this conversation going, and they said it's just thinking if you should think about integrations of different solutions like simply two people that just they were never meant to talk to each other, right? They were never designed to be integrated. In the sense, this is when Getint comes into play and tries to help you out, but first some preparations have to be made, right? You need to
Yes,
understand what would you like to achieve, and then simply map it in a fairly easy way within the tool, right? But there's some kind of like a learning curve, preparations. So it's not a thing that can be done overnight, right? If you want to
correct.
have the full workflows and custom fields and some fields prepared.
I
Indeed.
agree. I agree. I like that analogy of two people talking who shouldn't really talk to each other. It's almost like different languages. So if we speak
Yeah.
different languages, you can translate very easily online with artificial intelligence, but you miss the culture and you miss the nuances of that relationship. I
Yes.
think that's what the tool works perfectly. Think about the bigger picture. What do you actually want to achieve with it? Yeah,
Yeah, and in the end, about the people using this and the value they would
exactly.
like to get. It's just not about the simple field transition, right? It
Precisely.
just transition happens, and then someone is using this to do some work, right?
Yeah.
So at Getint, we try to do this mapping to look somehow like a dictionary, a word on one hand and the word on
Yeah.
another, but it's all about the other things, as you mentioned, in
Agreed.
between. So
Yeah.
I was wondering about. Back then, when you were evaluating Getint and maybe some other solutions, what made you choose to go with Getint, and what made you decided to stay with us and renew the license?
So I think two things really. Actually, three things. Three things.
Okay.
One, we went onto the Atlassian marketplace, and you were quite visible on the Atlassian marketplace, and you clearly had quite a broad spread of systems that you could interface with. So that was one thing. Secondly, the price. Your price was very attractive. You know, that as a commercial organization, every penny or every cent that we spend comes out of our margin. So we have to be commercially minded about how we do this sort of things. So I think the breadth of the product, the commercial construct that you offered, with the reasons we chose you guys over another product. The other choice we had was to build our own. And you know, by working with us now, we're quite a technical organization. We have developers, we have people who support custom applications for many customers of InoApps. And we did think about, should we just build our own so that we are masters of our own destiny and we control it? But then we said, well, no, why would we reinvent the wheel? You guys are the experts in Jira integration with other service desks. And much in the same way as my customers shouldn't learn everything they need to know about Oracle, we shouldn't learn everything we need to know about what you guys do. So trusting the experts to do what they do so that we can go and do what we're good at was the thing that really tipped the balance. In terms of your second part of your question, why are we staying with you? Well, it works. You know, the system works for us. All the reasons why we made the decision to choose you in the first place, they're all still there. So you know, why would we change?
Okay, happy to hear this. I was wondering about the additional one of the differentiators, which is here with us and some other products, is that our approach to building integrations is that you should use the UI as long as it works for you, because it's easy to set up, easy to maintain, right? Even for the technical people, as most of the people working Getint in your company are technical. So maybe they would be able to write the scripts, but we believe that maintaining them is pretty hard, right? And if you think about it long term, like maintaining hundreds of scripts instead of simple UI setup, it's not really that easy. So I was wondering, what do you think about UI over scripts when it comes to solutions like this?
Well, I agree, because the people who work in my technical teams love writing scripts. They would write scripts 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. I'm almost, by using the product, I'm constraining them and saying, no, let the product do what it's designed to do. You go and do the work that I want you to do for my customers. So in some ways, you know, it takes that temptation away to go and build something that is too complicated, is hard to maintain, and takes too much time to implement for new customers. So the commonality and the almost the commoditization of the UI based design, with the flexibility to be able to extend it if we need to, is that perfect balance.
Yes, so that's what I think also about the flexibility, because along this time that we worked together, there were some tickets, right? And as I remember, as I recall, your team also helped to shape the tool in a way that is working now, thanks to the feedback, feature requests, and overall experience that we did to keep you with us. So another point I was wondering about is simply the use case of a lot of managed service companies, right? You're the one, I guess, like managing the whole integration experience, right? So with Getint, all you need is simply installing the application on your end, and there is nothing needed, almost nothing needed from the customer side. Correct. So you don't need to ask all the customers to ask their version of Node, Getint somehow like configuring the UI on their end as well. Was this a factor that you're the only like a person managing the integration, and you don't really need a lot of stuff and installing payments and stuff on the customer end as well?
Absolutely, that was a big consideration, because we don't want to enforce ourselves on our customers. In fact, some of our larger customers already have integrations into other service providers, not necessarily through Getint, but by adding another one to that list, added further complexity, further time delay, and more reliance on the customer being able to do what they would have to do on their side. The other aspect that was really important related to that is that Getint really just simulates being an end user. You know, it does it cleverly, but it simulates being an end user. Now, my JSM implementation has data about 150 organizations. Some of that data is potentially quite sensitive. So the risk of data leakage from customer A to customer B is always the top of my priority list. And because Getint behaves in the way that an end user would, they can only see the data and the configuration within there that they would see if they went in through the portal with the same username. So the product, in the way it's designed, respects the security of JSM as a system, and the same at the client end as well. So that's really important to us for data protection.
Oh yes, that's a really valid point. I forgot about to ask about the security. Indeed, like a lot of our customers are very concerned about security.
Yeah.
And yeah, with Getint, we put a lot of effort to give you full control within the UI, like filtering, deciding what to do with public and private comments, acting as a service account in a way that is easy to spot. Yeah. So all right. One other question I wanted to ask you is like now, like using this for more than a year. Do you feel that Getint like impacted the responses time, the productivity, the customer satisfaction? Is it like more smooth, faster? How can you name the overall improvement?
I think
organization?
Obviously you as an organization have grown at the same time as we've been using this system. Yes. So we can see that your organization has matured and got extra people in with new skills. So that's certainly helped us. In terms of, are we where we hope to be when we first started? I think the answer is yes. I think the answer is yes. I selfishly don't want you to grow any larger. I think we, my technical team and your technical team, as you said earlier, they work well together and they understand each other. So there's always a danger if you get really big that we become too small for you. So we just need to be.
I hope it never happens, in a sense that
well, me too.
This relation is a key for me. Yes,
absolutely. Good. That's good to hear. So no, we're happy that the two organisations are. We work well together at both. We're both entrepreneurial organisations, so we understand, commercially how to structure things, and we're both technical organisations. Although my technical skills are nowhere near where they used to be, we're both technical organisations who work well together at a technical level as well. So I think it's a good match. Yeah.
Yes. I think I also have this kind of feeling that when we just started Getint, the team was very small, right? So both co-founders, Radek and I, we were like in every particular process we could be, right? Talking to customers, developing everything. Now it's just a bit more hard for us, but we have this commitment that both of us will still have to be involved in most of the processes, especially about the key customers, right? Because it's all about building the relations. The selling comes like as a very last step, right? Once you have a good relation, once the customer loves the product, they are willing to share the stories as you are. That means that this is a healthy relationship, which would hopefully last a long time. So the last question, like, will you recommend Getint and why?
I would recommend Getint, and I think it's for the reasons that we've talked about during this conversation. You're flexible, you're approachable. The product does what it says, but you're not that arrogant that you think it does everything that something would like to be. Everybody will have something that you need to help them change or shape, and you're open to that feedback, and you're open to suggestions around enhancements and extensions to it. So I would absolutely recommend you guys to anybody who was thinking of using your services as part of an end-to-end solution. Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. So I'm very happy to see how this project that we have together scales to other customers, how we keep using this. And I still hope for more feedback to come to help us shape the best product there could possibly be. Thank you very much for this conversation. Thank you very much for your recommendation.
And thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today.